It Here with Sudhi and Suchi.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Hear It Here with the ever so effervescent Suchi, Pillai, Pillai, Pillai. And
The same person. Sudhi.
thanks, Suchi.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to Hear It Here with Sudhi and Suchi. This is the show where you hear what?
Bollywood, yaar.
You hear Bollywood news and
He hear, see, and interact with everything that is Bollywood. Suchi.
absolutely, absolutely. And speaking about Bollywood, I mean, how can we not talk about the Bachchan family? Okay. If you talk about Bollywood, B Bachchan, right? So Abhishek Bachchan now has been roped in to play a role, of course, to play the lead in Ghumar.
Ah, right. It's
That one.
Balki's film.
Right? And where Abhishek Bachchan is, Pitaji can't be far behind. So Pitaji has apparently also been roped in to play a cameo in this film.
Because I think Amitabh Bachchan forever has been a part of all Balki films, right, Suchi?
Yeah.
So maybe that's the reason?
Maybe that is the reason.
That's the connection?
Yes.
So the Malayalam film, Suchi, The Great Indian Kitchen.
Eda film, huh?
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
Yenna? Oh, sorry, that's Tamil.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that is being remade in Hindi.
Yeah, Great Indian Kitchen has been, getting accolades all over the place. People are talking about it everywhere. And
I haven't seen it, but
yeah,
I've heard it's
been told,
amazing.
I've also been told that it's absolutely amazing, and I intend to watch it because, of course, I'm Malayali. But Sania Malhotra has been roped in to play the lead in that one. Let's see what she does with that role. No, it'll be interesting to see.
So Suchi, Kriti Sanon's younger sister.
Nupur Sanon.
Yes, well done. Who has, you were telling me she had done a lot of?
She had done a lot of videos, music videos with Akshay Kumar. That's how, that's how she broke onto the scene.
And now she's making her film debut, Suchi, opposite Nawazuddin Siddiqui.
Siddiqui.
Huh. Thank you. And the film is called Nurani Chehra.
Asta hua Nurani Chehra. Ta 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 ta. Sorry, yeah.
That last tear was out of tune, but anyways, we'll talk about that a little later. This film is called Nurani Chehra, and it's an interesting concept because it's about a girl who's light complexion marrying a dark-skinned fellow.
Sorry.
Some amazing talent here.
Yeah. The ever young Anil Kapoor.
How does he do it?
I don't know, man. People used to talk about Jitendra and this 40 plus or 30 plus or whatever, that kind of thing. But Anil Kapoor is just like evergreen. Absolutely evergreen.
Actually amazing. It's, like a round of applause for the man because he's really worked on himself.
Yeah, instead of saying how to be a millionaire, he should be saying how to look so young. That's Anil Kapoor. But keeping with that, Anil Kapoor has really off late been starring with really much younger heroines, much younger than him heroines. There's apparently a film that he's already shot for with Fatima Sana Sheikh. It's untitled as of now.
Okay.
And there's a new one that's coming out where he starred in his son-in-law Karan Bulani's next project with Bhumi Pednekar.
I'm just confused. Which daughter?
Riya.
Acha, fair enough.
Riya. Yeah, so Anil ji, bas 1 took a 4, 4 took a 1. Excellent. Can you tell me exactly who is coming now onto the screen?
I think the man who is a powerhouse, I think. Exactly.
Yes. Powerhouse of talent means whoa, just like something else. This is somebody who I've known forever and a day. And
I've grown up watching this guy, man. Suchi is such an inspiration. Man.
Absolutely an inspiration and a wonderful, wonderful guy. And he's going to entertain us right now. We are talking about Jaaved Jaaferi.
It Here with Sudhi and Suchi.
Ladies and gentlemen, on Hear It Here with
Sudhi and Suchi, we have the multi-talented, the brilliant. I'm going through a fanboy moment as we are having this discussion. I'm talking about the legendary Jaaved Jaaferi.
Thank you, Arey boss. Thank you for the
Hello,
love.
आप सात समंदर पार हैं. Thank you for joining us on Hear It.
Ek samandar.
Ek
Ek
samandar. Yeah, for effect, it's better to say सात समंदर and all.
Okay.
Yeah. How's it going, Jaaved?
It's going.
It's going.
Pretty, yeah.
You're right now in Dubai and you're doing the show Why, correct? With Shekhar
With
Kapoor.
Shekhar Kapoor and A.R. Rahman.
Tell us a little bit about it.
It's fantastic. It's a truly international production, like a very Broadway-ish. But the uniqueness of this is that the venue is a 360 degree. It's a dome, and the dome has projections like 360-degree projector. There were 240 projectors which are in sync. And we are in the middle, and the audience is around, and there's a whole dome like on top like this. So
Nice.
everything is synced with what you're doing. So there are specially created videos, CG, etc., which go in sync with. So ours is like a 1 hour show, and it's basically it's a musical. And so I play this character called Andromeda, and it's basically a symbolic clash between the girl. She's the one who's asking why.
Right.
She's the one who's always questioning. She's the searcher. And then there is Wisdom, which is played by her grandfather who's dead and who is coming back to guide her. And there is Eternity, which is a symbolic form of the universe, the cosmos.
Yeah.
And I play that. And so I'm trying to lure her, saying, why do you want to be human? Be eternal, and then you can be with me and you can share.
That's interesting.
Oh, nice.
And it's all
interesting.
and it's all about her heart. And she says she's trying to, when she was a child, she's saying, why do we treat our planet this way? Why are we doing this to our planet? And and the point is, it should take roots, and then it should feel. You should feel as a part of the planet, feel for the planet. So it's a symbolic, very, very symbolic, but very well. It's very comprehensive.
Are you dancing in this, Jaaved bhai?
Oh well, there's a bit of dance. I mean, it's a very loud, Mogambo-ish character.
Nice.
But but he's also he's raps in the middle. So there's a whole rap which is about creation, about how right from the Big Bang and right up to where we came to the musicians, the creative people, and the religions, and so there's a whole journey of creation till today, and what we are doing today to our planet. So the whole opening of the act is me rapping about what's happening.
That's
from
fabulous.
the beginning.
Obviously, I asked you about the dance aspect, and Suchi was sharing a fabulous story, which I'm sure she will as we go along.
You remember our rehearsal when you all swung me around and I hit my head? You remember that one? I think after that only, I've become a bit crazy. But then
that's
it's a good,
okay.
it's a good kind.
We're here for you. Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't drop you. I think somebody else was.
You didn't drop me. Sai and Tinku and all those people.
Yeah.
But of course, the reason why I asked you this, Jaaved bhai, was Bol Baby Bol, and the entire nation just stood up and just kind of was completely enthralled by your performance. Imagine that was 1985. It's left such an amazing, indelible mark in my brain that I still really end up thinking about your hair, where you played the antagonist, you did that, and of course your sequence of that.
Yeah, now you don't break into dance here.
Okay? No, I can't.
I will take some training from you.
I can't. I'm like I say a lot of the times, I'm like a giraffe giving birth. That's how I look when I dance.
Yeah.
A giraffe giving birth. That's an interesting visual.
Interesting concept. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Jaaved, now you're a man who wears many hats, including the one you're wearing now, this very cute beanie. But it's been, I know you from like way back. I know him from the 80s, and phenomenal dancer. That's why all of us girls used to just say, my God, how does he do that? It was that. Yeah.
So that's how does he do that?
How does he do that? I mean, what brought you into this? What made you decide you wanted to dance the way you do?
I don't know, man. I was brought up in Macland. So anyway, so that was where I grew up. And obviously that culture was a lot of music and there was dance. And so the consciousness, I think, came around 75, the Boni and Abba.
Right.
That zone. Yeah. And then there were these weddings which used to happen in McDonald's Roof Gardens. And so there were a lot of the Christian weddings incorporated dance. So we used to just land up at random weddings, not knowing who it is. We just know, Seventh Galaxy is playing. Let's go. So 4-5 of us used to just go wear some decent clothes and just land up at the wedding, dance. We're not there for the food. We just dance. And, at the end, the groom and the bride and the groom come and visit all the guests. So we just stand with like some family and like nod our heads. So, and it was the bumps and the hustle and Saturday Night Fever came in around 70.
Late 70s, I thought.
76, 77.
Yeah.
70, little before 79. 78 maybe, And so then that's when the form changed. Before that, because there was no television showing dance, there was nothing. So it was just what we gathered from here and there, and somebody came from abroad and bought a few steps in. So we picked up and used to dance at Bandra Fair, and there were they used to have, Bandra Fair had a social, they used to call it the social, which is like on the second floor. And that used to be there from 6:37 till about 11. So we used to just go in like once a year.
Okay, so talking about the dancing.
So the Saturday Night Fever solo is where we go.
Yeah, so you should be dancing solo, happen, clear the flow, and then so that went on for nearly like 2 years. That you should be dancing was wherever you go, suddenly say, okay, play the song. That whole bit is
your anthem. Yeah.
So then it progressed. Obviously, then there was the All Bombay Dance Championship, which I won with Rukhsana Todiwala, and then there was the All India Dance Championship at Sea Rock, which again I won with Rukhsana Todiwala. So that progressed, and then the movie happened. I got an offer.
Yeah.
I said, okay, let's go. So I just flowed. It was never planned. It was never like, I'm a dancer.
You were self-taught dancing, or you went for any classes?
Yeah. No way. We didn't have
at that time. There were,
That's just, I mean,
but there are a few people who really, there were a few people who really contributed to my dancing and finishing. The first one I danced with was a girl called Kavita Sani. She just passed away 2 years back. Yeah. So she was wonderful. Then there was Sunita Strook, who was a jazz dancer. She was abroad. She came down here. And there was Farida Pedder. She also passed away. Karla Singh.
Oh, yeah.
Again, a lot of finishing. I did Evita. And so these are people who really contributed to me understanding form, structure, exercising, your flexibility, how to work on it. So I think most of the time, the longest I've spent is with Karla Singh, because we were doing Evita for over 2 years.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to do Greece, and then I couldn't, because then I joined the Meri Jung happened, and then I couldn't do Greece, and then Shamak did Greece. So that was the whole process. But that's where I picked up from. But 86, after Meri Jung released, I took a 3-month, I had a gap, and I went to London for 3 months, and I did an intensive, like open dance course in a Pineapple Studio and all that stuff. So that was 3 months, but it was just fine tuning what I already knew. 3 months, 3 months, I was thinking. But yeah, so that's all I have a background of. So.
Well, that's fabulous. That's just fabulous.
And then after that, of course, the movies. I mean, that was obviously like a natural progression because of Dad and, growing up with that. But when you got your first break, Jaaved, was it what you had expected, or did you want to do like, only action and this and that, or did you know that it would be a lot of dance?
No. I wasn't, honestly, when I was in college, and when I got the dancing going, I actually thought, before the movies happened, I actually thought I'll go and study dance as a degree.
Yes.
Right.
And then my father didn't agree at that point. He said, no, 4-year dance, this whole world is like some crazy, you'll get into drugs and you might, so he just got a little too overcautious, and then he said, no. So then I shifted, and I said, okay, then I was dancing as like something I like to do, passionate about. But again, it was unstructured. It was just like just heading. So I didn't know where I was heading. I was in college. I shifted from arts. I went into science. From science I shifted to arts. Then I did entire psycho, and and it just, like I said, I just flowed with the current wherever it took me, and I didn't realize there were no plans for life and ambition. It was just like, okay, I want to be good at what I do.
Correct.
And I enjoy what I do. And then suddenly it was like, okay, so now you're going to get paid for what you do. Right. And okay, that makes sense.
But so it's interesting, actually, what you just talked about, right, Jaaved bhai, in terms of flowing.
Yeah.
Your career actually has just purely been that. You've done a body of work which is fabulous. So, I mean, it's from voiceovers to animation to acting to dancing to theater to all of that. And I wanted to actually ask you this, because when you did join Channel V, you were the rage, right? For a lot of people like me, for sure. And I mean, I would say this, I was working for another music channel at that time. And I used to be like completely blown away.
What a time we had.
Exactly.
That time was like the best time.
But interestingly, you did that post cinema, after you'd already started acting in films, you started to get onto television. So did you ever feel that, wait a minute, maybe it's a step down or not a step down? Or...
No, no, okay. So this is a very good point. Now the point is, when I came to the movies, the whole image of mine was, oh, ye to India Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So it's like, so whatever they offered me was okay. If I have a bedroom in my film, there'll be a poster of Michael Jackson there. So it's like that image was so prefixed. Right. Boy, yeah, these are dancer guy. And the roles I got were, I mean, what we call, they were always one of the leads. I was never a solo lead.
Sure.
So when I came in, it was always like one of the leads, two of us, three of us. And I played a villain with Shah Rukh in Oh Darling in India. I was with Amir as the second lead in a film called Jawani Zindabad. And there was Tisra Kaun. So there were a few movies, but I was not like content as to creatively. I'm just stuck in one little loop, and that's the image they have of you. Then when Channel V came, and I got an offer, and there was a, but then, and I had just gone for Hajj. I got married, and after I got married, the second day after my marriage, I just took my wife, my parents, and I went for Hajj. So it was a very spiritual beginning, and I said, yeah, this particular channel, it'll give me a platform to enjoy myself. My humor, because the Hindi films are not sent, obviously they were giving scripts. It wasn't my humor. And I felt I could now, and there were two people who were very instrumental. One primarily was a guy called Rakesh Sharma. And Rakesh Sharma was a creative head, and he thought, let's make music television Indianized. Let's not go MTV, and let's not try to be them. Let's make our own version of music television. And that's when I came in, and I was this Hindi guy who could do various accents, who could imitate various film actors. So that, and I brought that to the table. And there was Ashmaki who was directing, there was Shahid, and there was, Shashank Ghosh. So this whole team of people, and we felt, okay, let's Hindiize it. And, the whole concept of going yo, and you go oi, you go to reverse of yo. And we said, okay, so I got the English going, and there was of course, the writers become Manu Chopra, and there was Arshad Syed. So these are all the people. It was a great team. And then, crazy, just went mad. And this whole, the flashback was primarily.
And of course.
Time pass. So before Time Pass was Flashback. Flashback was the first show. Now Flashback was a retro show talking about films and actors and genres and musicians and music directors. And that's where I got the Hindi movie impersonations.
Nice.
Okay, that's that, because music television, nobody did that. And they were all talking with the very Americanized accents, like, all right, Neil Sherry coming on. So it's like, and it was like Naushad Sahab, not Naushad, not Dharmendra. It was Dharamji. So it was a very Hindi version of how we speak, and giving the respect. The main thing, you see, what happens in the West, everybody was the first thing. Or Dharam and Raj. We don't say that. It was Raj Sahab or Rajji or Dharamji. So that is what I got, and people connected in. Yeah, he's speaking like us. This is us, but we are presenting it in a very international way. So that's what worked. And suddenly the Hindi film fraternity woke up and saying, man, this guy is speaking about us, giving us the respect, and basically having fun. And it's really funny, but he's not insulting us. There was a very thin line. I didn't cross that line of you're not making fun of them, you're having fun with them.
Correct.
So that is the line I maintained. Like a lot of other people went overboard, and it sounds like an insult. And I never did that. It was always with respect, but I was having fun with them, not making fun of them. And that worked. And I got a huge amount of respect from the film fraternity, and they all loved it, including Dharamji and Mehmood Saab and Shami Kapoor Saab and all these people. They actually called and saying, Beta, you're wonderful. I did tributes to them. So they actually felt like it was very heartwarming, and they, like superb. And nobody's spoken like this about us, keeping the youngsters in mind, speaking their language, but giving us the respect. So that was something which really worked. And then Time X Time Pass, where I said, okay, how do I be different? So because I had done Flashback was the Hindi film impersonation. I said, like, I can't do the same thing. So then I went India. Then I went, boss, let's go India. Let's go Punjabi, Marathi,
Right.
Gujarati, Sindhi. Let's hit them. Let's hit the Indian diaspora.
Diaspora.
So I made characters which were very, very unusual characters,
Yes.
not what the Hindi films had seen. They were very new characters. Like Hip Hop Hingorani was a DJ from Club Dadlani in Ulhasnagar. So things like that. That was entirely, and that I think Akshay had come on and that we just brainstormed and said, let's make characters. And there's a guy called Saksi who was leading it from one septic tank somewhere.
I
and he was
remember.
inside the septic tank.
And I have to
Yeah,
say,
and
Jaaved, yeah, sorry, I can tell you this now. I mean, so many years later, I think I took a page from his book when I was doing Simply South. Thanks to him, I mean, he paved the way for,
He did.
Hindi and, us Indianizing Channel V. And that's how I got Simply South, right?
And Simply South was again.
I took a page from his book when I used to play all of those characters. And I said, hey, Jaaved can do
Yeah.
it.
But
Yeah.
Javed,
Even later.
did you
Yeah.
start to find your sense of contentment? Because let's face it, you had pretty much in a big way opened up like the avenues for so many youngsters
Yeah.
who were looking up at you and doing all of that, and you carried that stint for a very long time and brilliantly so. But the contentment, did it start to seep in?
Yeah, because obviously that's when actually that platform, Channel V for me, and I was there for about 5 years, a little more than 5 years. That was one of the best periods of my life creatively. I enjoyed myself. I was getting the love and respect, and for me, even if it was a niche market, I was, and then parallelly, while this was happening, then we went boogie woogie.
Right.
So what happened was, so here I was with the youngsters, the English, Western, but, and then you went boogie woogie, which is again dance,
True.
but then going into the villages, going into people from,
Yes.
the back of beyond of India, and they're coming into this platform. And so for me, these two platforms were the ultimate because the balance of, there was dance here, and here there was music, and there was Hindi films and, whatever. And here there was, so I think that period was amazing for me. And the amount of love and adulation and respect I got through these two platforms. Boogie Woogie went much wider because obviously it was a much wider platform.
And it ran for, I think, ages.
Yeah, for ages.
17 years.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, about 17 years.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I think in some ways, when I look back and I feel, yeah, my contribution, I did, man. I mean, when I came into television, I broke the barriers.
Yes.
And Javed Saab gave me a great compliment, and I'll never forget that. Javed Akhtar Saab.
Sure.
So he said, you have done to television what Amin Sayani did to radio.
Beautiful.
So his observation, was so keen that he understood that before it was, the hosting was very different.
Yes.
Behno bhaiyo, aap ye kariye, and then suddenly there was this guy going all cool and mad and crazy and doing accents and, so that's what happened. And then the second platform was Boogie Woogie because nobody thought that dance could be
Am I
put
right in
together
saying
and
this?
made.
Am I right in saying this, Javed, by that Boogie Woogie Suchi was probably the first and the most premier dance show on Indian television?
In the world.
In the
No,
world?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where? Show me. Give me one show which was.
Yeah, you're right.
So You Think You Can Dance came
Yeah.
in 2004.
Correct.
2004. We came in 96.
Yeah, right,
Wow,
right,
man.
right.
Wow.
Fabulous.
So,
Fabulous,
yeah.
That's
So
fun.
that
Whose
kind of-
idea
there
was it,
small
though,
little-
Javed bhai? Was it
You
you
and Naveed
No,
were
it was
Naveed.
no. So what I mean, we used to watch. See, there was Top of the Pops happening, stuff like that, which was
Correct.
there, and but they were not dance shows. There was a show called Dance Fever, which was on American television. But again, it was like a discotheque, and two couples come and they dance, and it's in a discotheque.
Okay.
It was not like a reality show going over
Right.
episodes.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was, you can say, a seed. And then Naveed came up. Naveed was doing on his own. He wanted to find his own way. And he didn't want to be, he wanted to come out basically, he was under two shadows. He was under the shadow of my father, and then he was under the shadow of me. And he said, look, man, I got to get my own identity. And he said, okay. So he got together with Ravi.
Ravi.
Because even if he was with me, he would still be like, no, elder brother. So he has to listen.
Right.
So he said, let me do my own thing. So he went with Ravi, who was his school friend.
Right.
And him and Ravi started the production and said, yeah, we are making the dance show. I said, great. So then a little bit of brainstorming we did.
Yes.
Whatever I could give. But he took it. He named it Boogie Woogie because it was a song.
Yeah.
1978 or 79 by Claudia Barry called Boogie, boogie, woogie, woogie, dancing shoes. Keep me dancing all night. Da-da-da-da-da. Very popular song. So he's like Boogie Woogie. I like the name. So people initially felt, hey, Boogie Woogie, kya Boogie? It just sounded, it had a ring to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then he was the Navid came, he said, okay, Boogie, and then Boo.
Boo.
So it was like the channel people, no, but boo is a negative connotation, and pata nahi ho, boo could be डरावना लगता है, yeah, boo is like booing,
Boo.
but he said no, yeah, but he just said no, that's like one whole thing with
Yeah.
the fist going boo, and so that became, and it was Navid's idea,
Yeah.
and so that caught on, and that became huge, man, and the amount of oof,
Oh yes.
I was like, it was like a tidal wave coming and hitting you, man, and I remember, and I don't want to name anybody some of the dance crowd. At that point, it was very, oh, we are from town and you're from Bandra.
Yeah.
Bandra is like one suburb. We are townies. There was a whole segregation which used to be strong. Okay, town was the happening place and Bandra is one suburb. And it's like, oh, the DM, like DM was very like a down market. Whatever. So I remember when we were the auditions for Boogie Woogie. It was a famous studio in Mahalakshmi. And a lot of the town crowd came. And there were a lot of people who came from Ghatkopar and Nala Sopara.
Right.
So the town crowd like, oh God, this is very DM, man. Let's go, man. If they had to just come in, they would have been blown away, washed out.
Talent.
The kind of energy and fire which these kids had from Nala Sopara and Ghatkopar, because they wanted to prove, man.
True.
For them, it was that we have to prove our point, and that's the hunger.
Yeah.
It was that eye of the tiger, which is Rocky.
Yeah,
it was that. And these kids had that, man. They were like totally gung ho, and we said, man, this is India. This is what the show is.
Yes.
And
That's
then we
just
got in.
did. Yeah. That's what actually you guys did. You promoted that. You went into the nooks and crannies of the country, and that's what it was.
Yeah. And then they came out, man, like Pied Piper, the little mice coming out.
Right,
and it was like, and we were shocked. We said, man, somebody from Bengal, some little village, somebody's coming and performing. Because by then, a little bit of television had come, so they could watch. And obviously, that time there was Bollywood. Internet had not like come so wide.
Right.
Internet came in a little later, but it had started, but to some extent. But they were still trying to connect. But then it just came in, and it was like, man, this amazing. And we were so humbled, and we maintained that humility. We never insulted people who came in. It was always the respect given to them and their families. And so I think that's what people sensed. And the families allowed their children and their mothers and their sisters and their daughters, even from traditional families, which otherwise they wouldn't have, but they fed. And they used to come and say on the show, saying, "Aapka show hai." And हम comfortable है हमारी family, हमको पता है यहाँ पे वो safe है, वो respect में है. So that was one thing again which we, I think we were there, and we both believed, all of us, Javed, Ravi, myself, we believed in it, and you could sense the humility and the respect on screen, and it was there, and so I think that's what made the show what it was. I've seen a lot of dance shows today, but it's like very clinical.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was going to say that.
So, yeah.
Now, the resurfacing of Jaaved, in Bollywood, when, obviously people sat up and took notice and said, yeah, we've not tapped him enough.
Yeah.
Where do you think you got your due, Jaaved? Where do you think,
I look, honestly, as an actor, you always feel, there's so much more to do.
Yeah.
Because you can say, in a way, it's a blessing in disguise. Because if I had to be doing a lot of work, at some point you saturate. And then, I've been around for like, 1984. Wow, 37 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So 84, I came in. 85 was the first official launch. But okay, let's take 85. So 85, 37 years, man. So you're still hanging around by the grace of God. You're still doing work. Like I said, but I never shied off oh, why am I dubbing one Disney animation, or why am I doing some ad? No, for me it was, as a performer, everything, it's honing your craft. So every little bit you're doing something to hone your craft as a voice, as a character, as a host, as an actor.
Yes.
So for me, it was never a restriction. I can't do this, so I shouldn't do this. No, as long as it's something which excites you and you feel, yeah, man, I'll enjoy this.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get paid for it. But again, it was not, like I said, there are a lot of work which didn't pay you that much.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at like the Disney animation stuff, it hardly paid you.
Yeah.
Takeshi's Castle initially hardly paid you. I did it. I enjoyed it.
His favorite. Oh
So
my
Javed bhai, I
God.
have to share this story with you. My youngest brother, right? I have two younger brothers. My youngest brother, he was about 4 years or 5 years old, and he and I get along like a house on fire since he was about like a year old, because he's a fabulous kid. So I remember, no matter what, whether I'd be working, whether I'd be doing whatever, but I would make sure that when Takeshi's Castle would be on, this guy would be bouncing like a nut, waiting for Takeshi's Castle to stand. I would run back home and he and I would sit together and watch it. And my God, it was so brilliant. I had to share that story with you.
No, seriously, you've got to do
No,
us.
I know, but I really, it was when they came to me, I saw it and I said, yeah, this is fun. It's great fun. And the money was nothing much. It was like nothing much at all.
Yeah.
But I said, no, yeah, it's fun. I'll enjoy it. It's like, and it was, I thought kids. But then in a few years, it became a whole adult who are enjoying it also. It just crossed borders, and it just like, it was no longer only kids. It was the whole family sitting and freaking. So, and that got, so personally, even today, I'm in Dubai right now. I go out and I meet women who are probably 45, 50.
Right.
And they call me sir, or somebody call me uncle. And they say, we grew up on Boogie Woogie and Takeshi's Castle. So because that ran for so many years, and Takeshi, so a lot of people say, sir, you are an integral part of our childhood.
Yes.
And for me, it's really heartwarming. It's like, man, okay, fine. I'm really thankful to God that I got to do things which I'm still part of their lives and their memories.
And now also, Javed, I think thanks to, OTT platforms, thanks to new directors coming in, etc., you're finally getting, some meat in the characters that you're playing, etc.
Right.
And I've always
some
maintained
mutton into the characters.
Mutton, thoda mutton chops.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I've always maintained that he's a phenomenal actor.
Absolutely.
What is that one thing? I mean, you've done negative, you've done being a dancer, this, that. What's that one thing in Bollywood that you think, you would really love to attack? What type of a character or what type of role?
Or for that matter, a series, Javed bhai, given the fact that now the OTT
today, now what's happening is, today, even if, I'm the 50 plus here, but today there are roles being written where age is no more a barrier. I mean,
Absolutely.
you could be 60, 70 and yet have a series where you are playing the lead, whatever. So I think it's a great time for actors.
Yes,
and I mean, Suchi is getting such really good work.
Absolutely.
And you're still looking total mutton. So,
Mutton.
Exam. Mutton means like, mutton is like something relishing. Yeah. So I think for me, I've really been, I mean, it's a blessing and I always treat it as a blessing. So when people come and they want, a lot of people feel, yaar, aap, log aate hain, photo ke liye, आपको disturb करते हैं, आप कहीं बैठे होते हो. But I don't think of it that way. I feel, man, you sign up for that.
Correct.
When this is part of your job.
Yes.
You do this, they will appreciate you, and it's a blessing.
Sure.
Because they're coming to you because they like you, they love you, or they appreciate your work. That's why they're coming to you. Why would they want to click picture with you?
Of course.
So you have to give that respect back and say thank you, for appreciating my work. So yeah, that's how I look at it. But yeah, sometimes you're tired, but then you sign up for that. Then you don't go out.
Yeah.
Then you sit in your room and you just want to be relaxed.
But what are the conversations like with them? I mean, when they were growing up and things like that were going on. Of course, they see you as a powerhouse.
And when
in terms of a
Mizan
creative
wanted,
talent,
to join the industry, Mizan wanted to join the industry, what was the advice?
Yeah. So when they were growing up, I was doing a lot of work. I spent a lot of time with them, no doubt. Obviously, my wife chose to be a homemaker, and because she felt that fair enough, I got 3 kids and I got to give 100% to them. And she gave me 100% of her time when we were not having children. And she was a total, my entire back support, my
That's
total
fabulous.
support, like a
You're a
huge
lucky
support.
man, Javed,
Well,
right?
yeah,
And he's been married
yeah.
3
So
times.
Yeah.
yeah, so
वो
yeah.
हम बाद
So
में बात
ठीक है,
करेंगे. Yes, yes.
आ जाओ यार, fine, join the club. Uh,
Yeah.
So I have friends who keep telling me, "तुझे भी एक ही के साथ है." मैं बोला, "यार, look, with the amount of divorces you're seeing around, my wife and me are staying married just to be different." So yeah, but yeah, she was a really big support, and she is still. But when the kids were growing up, and we used to basically talk about whatever was happening, whether it's movies or whether it's life around. And my father was also giving his wisdom. My father he spent a lot of time in Mizan. I think Mizan did spend a lot of time with him, and he absorbed a lot from my father and from me. So, but I never restricted them. Whatever they wanted to study, I did the best I could, even beyond my means sometimes. And I sent the two elder kids. They studied in America, in universities there, and whatever they wanted to do. And I said, now you, like, for me, I just flowed with the current. I said, now you flow where you want to go and find your way, as long as it's honest and it's dignified. It's with dignity and honesty, and you keep your value system, and don't become too greedy. Don't get lost with the so-called capitalistic hunger. As long as you keep that balance. The balance is that's my Mizan, my elder son. Mizan means equilibrium.
Nice.
Balance. So I said that's your name. So keep that balance going.
Nice.
And so Alvia, my daughter, again, she did the business of passion. So strategic design and management. So sometimes I get so lost. She went to which college was this? Anyway, so it's the top college in fashion design.
Right.
So she went to New York. She did that Parsons School of Design.
Parsons, right?
So so she did that, and now she's starting her own online business. She's like 25, and Mizan's will be 27 now. And my youngest one is called.
You look like 35. I mean, no, 32 actually.
Yeah.
Mutton to
चलो तुम्हारी भी नहीं, मेरी भी नहीं, 30.
And although I got married like reasonably, it was kind of late. I was 32 when I got married, and so it wasn't young exactly. But so I managed to. I don't look so old.
No, you don't.
Probably I dye my beard and all. So fine.
No, don't
I
do all
dye.
that.
It's gray, yeah.
Because
I'm doing this. No, for this character here I'm playing. So they wanted me to shave because they want a younger looking character. But I couldn't shave because I got a movie coming up where I'm going to keep the beard. So they said, can you just make it like a dark in your beard, don't keep the gray. So I did that. I mean, okay. So so the kids the younger one is now into hip hop music. He writes, he composes. He's trying to get into Berkeley School of Music now. So so he's working. He did the internship with AR Rahman for about 2-3 months here in Dubai. So so they're all finding their ground.
But it's lovely. The conversation is lovely.
Must be, And now what is it that you're looking forward to, Jaaved, which you think people will see Jaaved in a different avatar per se, coming up on OTT or movies, anything?
Okay. So the last release I had was Suryavanshi.
Right.
Again, where I played a pretty serious character. Is an ATS chief officer.
Correct.
And that was good in a way because people liked it. Was a very sober, serious role as opposed to Total Dhamal, which was before that, which was this mad character.
Correct.
So I'm lucky in a way. Now I've got a series coming up called Escape Life for Hotstar, Disney Hotstar. That's really nice. Again, a serious corporate head of very dark series, very, very dark adventure. And then there's a movie for Netflix called Jadugar. Again, that's a feel-good film.
Nice.
With the same people who made Panchayat. So they were the TVF team primarily. So that's one. And now this thing, I've just finished this project here. I'm in the middle of it. And there's one or two other projects which right now I can't talk about. But that also OTT. So good stuff. Yeah.
Good, of course.
So that was mix and match of Firoz Khan Sahab and
Yeah,
a
right.
bit of the bad Punjabi bad English. So it just worked, and the Singh is King was different, and Dhamal was different, and so opportunity to play different ends of the spectrum, which is
Sure.
from being the very sober, like Shaurya was a very serious film, and I played the villain in Bang Bang and Besharam with Ranbir Kapoor. So things like that. So we've been lucky, because you get to play from a Dhamal and Salam Namaste, and then you play the other end of the spectrum. So not many actors get that kind of a scope to play,
So
that, and
really
then do one Boogie Woogie, and then do one Takeshi's, and so like I said, I've been blessed here. I mean, I'm, that I got
no,
so much kind of work.
We've been blessed,
we've been
for
blessed to
God's
see
sakes,
all of
yeah.
your work, man. Seriously,
Yeah,
Jaaved.
yeah.
But now you sing, you dance, this, that. What's that one thing that not many people know about Jaaved Jaaferi?
वो तो प्राइवेट हो जाते हैं ना.
ये वो थोड़ा कुछ बोल दे.
देखो अभी हाँ मैं सोच रहा था कुछ
हाँ वो तो थोड़ा कुछ प्राइवेट टेरिटरी में जाएंगे हम. हाँ, तो no, but
about you as a personality.
I think I would like to direct. Yeah, that I would like to put up, like, because when you direct, you are in every field. You are in how it looks as as a production, into art, the art direction. You are into the music. You are into how it should look cinematically as a cinematographer. So I think as a director, your creativity has the maximum output, and
That's right.
you can you can tell the actor how you would like the scene to be translated in acting. So I think that's something I would really like to do, and I've been wanting to for a while, but I think in the next 1-2 years I should. Now this year I have a lot of work, but next year hopefully I can get a film together and see if I can. It's lovely, Suchi, always to connect with you.
No,
and,
absolutely.
And wish you also all the best, man.
Thank you
So
much.
when you come back to Bombay, okay, we must meet up. Yeah, Jaaved.
Yeah.
This for a long time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, before you go, you can train us a little bit. I mean, I know we've been doing this, but supposing you were to say, and that was Jaaved Jaaferi on Hear It Here with Sudhi and Suchi, how would you do it? What voices? What would you do?
And that was Jaaved Jaaferi with Sudhi and Suchi. और सुची मुची में बड़ा मजा आया हमें ये इंटरव्यू करके. मिलते हैं.
Here with Sudhi and Suchi.
Oh, mutton! As he said, in that interview, yes, as he said, it's something to relish, and we relished that interview with Jaaved Jaaferi. Thank you so much, Jaaved, for being on the show.
But what a beautiful journey the guy has had, na, Suchi?
Amazing.
He's always done path-breaking work. He's never been never was overwhelmed if he was doing something different or whatever is the case.
More power to you, Jaaved.
Yeah.
Let's hope we see you shining on our screens for a long, long time to come. Beju Baura Kil Rahi. Something I've heard that song. You remember there was one old song.
Do that again,
Beju Baura Kil Rahi.
Masterpiece.
No? Wasn't there some I may not be getting the words right, but why I'm singing that song is because it reminds me of a movie that is really being talked about now. Beju Baura.
And Sanjay Leela Bhansali will be directing this film, so he's usually quite brilliant with period films, right? So
Absolutely. Alia Bhatt has been roped in, to be in this film, and that will be after her Gangubai Kathiawadi role.
That's how Gangubai is?
She sits like that.
Okay, fair.
Gangubai Kathiawadi.
I'm intimidated.
Yeah, already. So, so in this movie, Ranveer Singh is going to be...
opposite Alia Bhatt, right?
Yes, opposite Alia Bhatt.
You know what, Suchi? There's this interesting little anecdote. Vijay Bhatt, the gentleman who actually made the film in 1952 with Bharat Bhushan and Meena Kumari, incidentally, is the grandfather of one of Mahesh Bhatt's close associates, Vikram Bhatt.
Ah,
interesting.
That's an interesting thing, a bit of news, most definitely. But also, I have been told that another hero has been roped in to play Tansen. Yeah, while our friend Ranveer plays Baiju Insane. Why I say that is because Baura means insane. Baiju Baura. Sorry. Yeah. So this is the news that we have for you.
I still haven't recovered.
But what will be really interesting to see is that how Alia and Ranveer look in this particular film, which is a period film, as compared to how they were together in Gully Boy, right?
Ah, nice.
Yeah,
actually,
nice. It'll be a nice comparison.
I thought it was a great performance by both of them. In the film. Yeah.
And Alia seems to be, the blue-eyed girl for Sanjay Leela Bhansali, like how Ranveer has been his blue-eyed boy, because he's worked on 3 projects with him. That's Padmavat and of course
Bajirao.
Ramleela. And Baji Ramastani. All three. So I'm sure this is going to be
interestingly, Suchi, also Ranbir Kapoor was approached for Baiju Bawra.
Oh.
And unfortunately, probably the dates did not work out or whatever did not happen. So
well, Sanjay Leela Bansali, we have one thing to thank you for. Ranbir Kapoor in that towel. It's Savaria. Wow. I shall think about that right now.
So, Suchi, do you know this? That Aishwarya Rai was dropped from a film and Shah Rukh Khan had kind of initiated that entire action?
Seriously.
Yeah.
We think people who are like Miss World and Miss Universe, etc., would never ever be dropped from films. But yeah, Aishwarya has had quite a few of those, especially I think it was during that time that she was in a relationship with Salman, right?
Correct. And they were constantly fighting with each other and it was making a lot of nuisance on sets and things like that.
Yeah.
And it also happened on the films, on the sets of Chalte Chalte.
Which was, of course, Aishwarya's Lost Rani's game.
Yeah, and then of course Shah Rukh Khan, who was working in Veer Zara, again that film was for Aishwarya.
Where she was dropped and Preeti's game.
Correct. And the reason actually Shah Rukh was doing this, Suchi, was because he did not want any issues or trouble on sets.
Yeah, because they were friends. I mean, they have continued to be friends, etc. And I think, for the betterment of the project or whatever, they didn't want any hiccups happening on the set. While that was going on, which is why I think he admitted it to Aishwarya.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he admitted it and, was not shying behind the thing that, okay, I got you.
And unfortunately, Aishwarya during that time, Suchi, was dropped from a lot of films where she was being considered, but they did not want to work with her, and nobody even kind of gave her the reasons why she was like not a part of those films.
Yeah, because it was it was during the time where she had said "Hum dil de chuke sanam" to Salman. You see, so that is why that was causing a few problems for her. And then after that, it didn't cause problems for her.
Such a special talent you are. Counseling के बारे में सोचा तुमने?
हाँ.
ठीक. Just to share it with you, Suchi was just walking out and she decided not to kind of say bye to everyone. How rude of you!
No, that was just an action. I was going to say, and sometimes actions speak louder than words. Hence, I was walking out, which meant bye bye.
Kesara, sara.
मेरा सर घूम रहा. Don't sing, Sudhi. Don't sing. Just say goodbye.
Here with Sudhi and Suchi.